Good morning everyone. I am myself K.N. Narsimurthy. I am presently working as an assistant professor in Government First Aid Women's College, Tumkur. So this is my 6th video for the second semester BSc students of Tumkur University. I have presented 35 videos. I have successfully completed the 2 units in 30 sessions in my 30 videos. And one small chapter which I finished in this unit with these 5 videos from 31st to 35th. I have finished one small chapter which is magnetic materials. Now after finishing a small chapter magnetic materials, I have taken up a new chapter which is called Maxwell's equation. Okay, so from 36th onward, I am going to deal with a new chapter which is called the Maxwell's equation. But this Maxwell's equation chapter is absolutely new for the pre-university, just past pre-university students, means like you. So you have not seen these Maxwell's equation before. Okay, right. So I will start up this new chapter. So this electric and magnetic field are treated as two different entities. They are treated as two different entities before this 1929. This 1829. So in 1829, Oersted discovered a magnetic effect of electric current. He says that a current carrying conductor will produce us a magnetic field around it. So that is what the beautiful phenomenon which is called a magnetic effect of electric current. A current will produce a magnetic field. Okay, so that was discovered by Oersted in the year 1829. So after that, in 1831, just 3 years after that, 3 years later, Faraday discovered these Faraday's laws. So these Faraday's laws says that when a magnet is moved towards the coil, so it produces a current. It produces an induced current, an induced EMF, just by moving a magnet, just by changing the magnetic flux. Just by changing the magnetic flux, you can produce a current. So the two phenomena, one from the current, we are producing the magnetic field, which is magnetic effect of electric current. From the magnetic field, from the change in magnetic field, we are producing the current. Okay, now this clearly tells that these two are no way the different quantities. So they are not separate quantities. Now they are one linked with one another. So electric fields and magnetic fields are linked with one another. Now they are not two separate entities. So electric and magnetic fields will be associated with the motion of charges, which will have space and time variation, of course. Now they are treated as a single quantity, which you can say that the single topic which we discuss here is the electromagnetism. Now we don't have a separate electric and magnetic fields. They are always together. These electric fields and magnetic fields are always mutually perpendicular to each other and to the propagation of motion of a wave, which is called electromagnetic wave. Now these two are not a separate things. Electric field and magnetic field, they coexist. Okay. Now this explanation of the electric field and the magnetic field and their influence on their interaction with each other and with the other objects, okay, and the influence of these objects on these electric and magnetic fields was beautifully explained by the scientist called Maxwell. James Clerk Maxwell explained this thing. Okay, so what actually this, I'll repeat this. The interaction of electric and magnetic fields, okay, interaction of he explained electric and magnetic fields, their interaction and the interaction with the other objects, okay, and influence of the other objects on these fields can be successfully explained by these scientist Maxwell's. Okay, so he established 4 important equations. They are popularly known as the Maxwell's equations. Okay, so Maxwell's equations are as important as the Newton's laws of motions in the mechanics. Okay, they are as important as these Newton's laws. Here in the electromagnetism, they are the very basic laws of electromagnetism. Okay, now he unified these laws of electrostatics and magnetostatics, the laws like Faraday's law, okay, and the Biot-Savart's law and the Ampere's law, and these laws he unified it and he has presented in the form of four equations. They are known as the Maxwell's equations. Okay, he unified all these laws and in the form of four Maxwell's equations. And Maxwell says that these electromagnetic wave will travel with the speed of light. They travel with the speed of light. Okay, so I mean to say the light and electromagnetic waves are no way different. Okay, light is an electromagnetic wave because this light and the electromagnetic wave both travel with the same velocity. Okay, now you can say that the light is an electromagnetic wave. Okay, now electricity and magnetism are no separate topics now. They are the two regarded as the two aspects of a single subject. Now we have only one subject here, that is called electromagnetism. Now this electricity and magnetism are the two aspects of the same subject. The subject name is the electromagnetism. Now we have only one subject, electromagnetism, and the two different aspects in the electromagnetisms are electricity and the magnetism. Okay, fine. Yeah, the Maxwell's formulated the four set of equations involving these electric and magnetic field, and these equations are popularly known as the Maxwell's equation, which explains the basic laws of electromagnetism. These Maxwell's four equation explains the basic laws of electromagnetism. I have told you that these are as important as the Newton's laws of motion in the mechanics. Okay, they're as important as that in this electromagnetism chapter. Okay, yeah, these four set of Maxwell's equations, the behavior of electric and magnetic fields are governed by these four set of Maxwell's equations. Okay, the behavior is governed by behavior of electric and magnetic field is governed by these four set of Maxwell's equations. So the current will produce a magnetic field and it also produces an electric field. Therefore, in a sense, these electric and magnetic field, they coexist. Okay, now we have a single topic which is called electromagnetism. Yes. Now we'll discuss one important derivation here is the equation of continuity. Okay, yeah, equation of continuity says exactly the law of conservation of charges. We know that law of conservation of charge is the net charge in an isolated system remains constant. Okay, charge will not be created, okay, as such. So net charge which are present in an isolated system, isolated in a sense, charges cannot flow into the system or charges cannot flow out of the system. In such an isolated system, so net charge remains same. Net charge in the isolated system remains constant. This is the law of conservation of charge. The equation of continuity will also tells us the law of conservation of charge itself. Or you can say the law of conservation in another way, the rate of decrease of charge within a volume. Again, it is an isolated thing. The rate of decrease of charge within a volume is equal to rate of flow of charge out of the volume. Okay, whatever the charge decreasing within the volume is what the charge actually flowing out of the volume. Okay, if some quantity of charge flows out of the volume, the same amount of charge will decrease within the volume. Okay, so rate of decrease of charge within a volume is same as the rate of flow of charge out of the volume. Okay, rate of increase of charge within a volume is same as that of rate of flow of charge into the volume. Okay, again it is as good as saying the law of conservation of energy. I mean to say the charge within the isolated system remains same. Okay, if something goes out, there is a decrease in the charge. If something comes in, if there is an increase of charge. This is exactly the law of conservation of charge. So let us see what actually this equation of continuity is, and we shall derive an equation of continuity with the help of this. Okay, right. Now I am considering a surface, a closed surface. In fact, for the flow of current, I need a closed surface. This closed surface is enclosing a volume V. I have a surface here, I have a closed surface, a sphere, say it is a spherical shell, it is a closed surface, and this encloses some volume V. It encloses some volume V. Now let's I be the total, I the flow of current, I is the total current which is flowing out of the closed surface. Okay, so I is the current which is flowing out. I have a closed surface enclosing the volume V, and I is the current which is going out of this closed surface. Now what I can write here is I, the current, can be written as surface integral of J dot ds. It is surface integral of current density. J is called current density. What do you mean by current density? It is the current per unit area, per unit time. Current density is defined as the current per unit area per unit time. This is known as current density. Okay, so now we know that it's a current per unit area. If you multiply with an area ds, if I multiply this with an area ds is a small elementary area surface, small elementary surface which I have considered perpendicular to the flow of current. Okay, right. So if I take a small elementary area and I multiply that with the current density, I will get a small current di, say di. I will get a small current di. If I want a total current which is going out of this closed surface, then I have to integrate this over a surface integral. Okay, so if I integrate this over a surface integral, I will get the total current which is going out of this closed surface. Yes, which is enclosing a volume V. Okay, right. Since charge is conserved, this current must be equal to the rate of decrease of charge within the volume. Yes, exactly. The law which says that law of conservation of energy, which says that whatever the current which is going out, so will be equal to the rate of decrease of charge within a volume. I have considering a volume V. Okay, within the volume, if there is something goes out, definitely there is a decrease of charge. If the current goes out, current means it is a charge. Current is a moment of charge. Current is a rate of flow of charge. If some current goes out of my volume, so what happens to the charge here is it will decrease. Okay, the current going out will be equal to the rate of decrease of charge within the volume. Okay, right. This is exactly what the law of conservation of energy says. Okay, current going out of the volume is same as the rate of decrease of charge within the volume V. Okay, fine. Now we know the current, I can write an equation for current as I is equal to minus dq by dt. So minus is because the current is going out. There is a decrease of charge. The rate of decrease of charge is what equal to the current which is going out. Okay, minus indicates there is a rate of decrease of charge within the volume. Okay, so that is equal to minus dou by dou t of charge. For charge, I can write it as volume integral of rho dv. This we obviously write this equation for the charge. So many times we write this equation for charge because rho is the charge density. Rho is the charge per unit volume. So if charge per unit volume multiplied by a small volume will give us a small charge dq. If I integrate this small charge dq, I will get a full charge on this surface which is enclosing the volume V, and that is q. Okay. So to get a q, it is simple that you integrate this rho dv with a volume integral. Okay. right? We always write this equation for the charge. Q is equal to volume integral of rho dV. I got an equation 2. Okay. Now from equation 1 and 2, you should go back and see what is the equation 1. It is surface integral of J ds. This surface integral of J ds can be written as minus dou by dou t of volume integral of rho dV. Okay. So I have equating the equation 1 and 2 because 1 and 2 are both the equation for current which is flowing out of this surface S enclosing the volume V. Okay, right. So this left hand side I write surface integral of J dot ds. In the right hand side I'll write minus dou by dou t of volume integral of rho dV. Let us call it as equation number 3. Okay. Now we know what is actually the Gauss divergence theorem is. I have explained in my previous video this Gauss divergence theorem and the Stokes theorem. Okay. So this Gauss divergence theorem says that it is surface integral of the dot product of a vector is equal to volume integral of divergence of that vector. Okay. So surface integral of a vector is equal to volume integral of divergence of that vector. If you want to convert surface to volume integral, you have to add this divergence. Okay, so surface integral of J dot ds is equal to volume integral of divergence of J into V dV. Okay, so that is what the Gauss divergence theorem says. And I'll apply this the Gauss divergence theorem in the equation 3. So instead of writing surface integral of J dot ds in the left hand side, so I am writing volume integral of div dot J into dV in the left hand side. And that is equal to the same thing, the minus of volume integral of dou rho by dou t into dV. Alright, let us see what will be the next step. Now both are volume integrals, both left and right side we have a volume integral. So I can remove that, I can equate the quantities within the volume integral now easily. Okay, now this left hand side I have a quantity within the volume integral and that is div dot J into dV, and right side within the volume integral I have minus dou rho by dou t into dV. So you left out the dV because I am not, both sides we have volume integral. You can easily equate the quantities within the volume integral. Now it is simply div dot J, divergence of J is equal to minus dou rho by dou t. Or if you take this div dot J to the left hand side, dou rho by dou t to the left hand side, it becomes div dot J plus dou rho by dou t is equal to 0. This equation is known as equation of continuity. Okay, right. You can present the equation of continuity in either way. You can write it as div J plus dou rho by dou t is equal to 0, or you can say div dot J is equal to minus dou rho by dou t. This equation, the equation of continuity equation, the final equation which I got, this clearly tells that the flow of current into or out of the region, div dot J means what? The div dot J means the flow of current into it or out of it. It could be either of this. Div dot J could be either of this. It represents the flow of current into the region, or it also represents current going out of the region. And this current going out of the region is equal to rate of increase or decrease of electric charge in a specific region. Okay, so this dou rho by dou t will represent this rate of increase or decrease of electric charge in a specific region. It clearly tells that the current which is flowing out of the region is equal to the rate of decrease of electric charge in a specific region. Or it tells that the current which is coming into the region, into our surface, into our volume is equal to the increase of electric charges in that specific region or in that specific surface enclosing the volume V. Okay, it exactly the law of conservation of energy. We are telling this in some other form. That's it. Okay, so current going out is same as in decrease of electric charge. So current coming in is same as the increase of electric charge in that specific region. this left hand side, the divergence of J represents the rate of flow of current outside the region, in rate of flow of current into the region or out of the region. Suppose the right hand side, dou rho by dou t, represents the rate of flow of charge, means rate of leaving the charge or accumulating the charge in the region. It could be either of this. So dou rho by dou t is the rate of accumulation or the rate of leaving the charge from the particular region. Okay, this div dot j, if it is positive, you can expect more charges leaving the region than entering into the region. Okay, so there could be a chances of more charge leaving the region, particular region, means it's a surface enclosing the volume V, than the charge entering the junction. Okay, then in that case the charge will decrease in that particular region. There is a decrease of charge, there is a rate of decrease of charge in that particular region if the div dot j is positive, because the more charges are leaving the junction than entering into the junction. Okay, so right, so overall the equation of continuity tells that the flow of current into or out of the region is equal to rate of increase or decrease of electric charge in that particular region. Right, these are some of the books which I referred for this, for the equation of continuity and the Maxwell's equation. You go through these books, you will understand things. Thank you.